What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy, MM2K of PNTS Network, UbiMos Gaming, MM2K Gaming, Cloud Dosage, you name it, I'm there. And we're here with a special episode of UbiMos Podcast. This is a special episode because we're airing it at a special time. I have some engagements going on as you're listening to this. So you're actually listening to a premiere of the UbiMos Podcast, which normally airs 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you know what? I'm a flexible guy. Because depending upon what the reception is with this episode, hey, we might change it to this time forever. But now you're listening to this. If you're listening to this while it's premiering, you're listening to it starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. We have a great episode lined up for you today. We are going to be talking about some serious stuff happening on the Ubisoft front. Those things are what's happening in the news. We got Ubisoft Plus on Xbox. We got Riders Republic, right? Coming to Xbox. Coming to the other platform, which is PlayStation 5 with the Ubisoft Plus Classics. And then we're going to get into our big discussion, which is XDefiant. XDefiant is like moving heads. It's like it just came out of nowhere as far as the reception that it's getting. And people are calling it well, you know what? Let me just start. Let's just kick the show off. Let me not go too ad hoc. Let's kick the show off. I'll let the show speak for itself. Hello and welcome to the UbiMos Podcast, episode 6. Today we will talk to you about a new FPS game from Ubisoft that has been making waves in the gaming world. In this video, we will explore XDefiant. Why is it gaining popularity and how it is being considered as a competitor to the Call of Duty franchise? Also, we will share and give our thoughts on the latest Ubisoft gaming news, which again includes Ubisoft Plus on Xbox and Riders Republic being added to PlayStation version of Ubisoft Plus Classics. All right, let's get right into it. First and foremost, let's talk about this news that is coming from Ubisoft. As far as the PlayStation, no. Let's do this first. Let's totally skip and hold that for later. I want to talk about this Ubisoft Plus on Xbox. So for those of you who are not aware, Ubisoft Plus is a subscription service offered by Ubisoft that provides access to their extensive library of games for a monthly fee. Let me see if I can do this. Books. See, Xbox gets what? Gets Ubisoft Plus. Okay, so let's pull that up right there. And you know how we do. Let me show you something. Oh, I gotta give a date. Do I? Okay, I was about to say. No, that's not what we were looking for. Let's see here. Okay. Pure Xbox. It says these 10 plus Xbox games will all likely launch on Ubisoft Plus. That's an older article. Let's see what we can find. Ubisoft Plus. Okay, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Jeez Louise, hot chimney crickets. All right, Ubisoft Plus multi-access now available on Xbox. Now, for those who are not aware, again, Ubisoft Plus is a subscription service offered by Ubisoft that provides access to their extensive library of games for a monthly fee. With its recent availability on Xbox consoles, players can now enjoy a vast collection of Ubisoft games, including Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, and Rainbow Six Siege. Now, while this service may seem appealing to some Xbox gamers, others may argue that it does not provide enough value compared to Xbox's existing subscription service, Game Pass. Now, despite the numerous titles offered by Ubisoft, some may feel that paying an additional fee for access to a specific publisher's games may not be worth it, especially when Game Pass offers a vast collection of games from various publishers for a similar monthly fee. On the other hand, others may argue that Ubisoft Plus is a great addition to Xbox's subscription offering, providing players with a more extensive library of games to choose from and the ability to play Ubisoft games on day one. Ultimately, it's up to the individual players to decide if Ubisoft Plus is a valuable addition to their gaming experience on Xbox. We wanted to talk about that because a lot of people on Twitter who saw Ubisoft Plus being offered saw the price and said, no way, Jose, right? A lot of hardcore gamers. Or a lot of people on Twitter. I don't want to say hardcore gamers because there are a bunch of hardcore gamers that do not frequent Twitter. Twitter is like a cesspool. I hate to say it. Twitter is a cesspool of people wanting to belong and give their takes of the regurgitated theme of the day. So when you're dealing with that dynamic, a lot of people, quote unquote, hate on Ubisoft games. Ubisoft games are horrible. They're this, they're that, and they're yuck, right? Now, no doubt, and we've talked about it multiple times on the show, Ubisoft has lost the luster that it once had within the entire gaming community. That doesn't mean that Ubisoft is a bust. Now, granted, they've run into financial woes because they've had expectations for things and they didn't go well. Can't deny that. But they are always in the top 10 publishers out there. They're still making billions of dollars a year. And the most successful console the past two generations, the PlayStation console, it sounds like via all these things that are happening with the Activision Blizzard proposal from Microsoft, it looks like it was unearthed that Ubisoft is one of the top two publishers on that platform. So there are a lot of people that, again, don't get caught up in the cesspool of Twitter, social media. They don't follow the herd-like mentality. This is what you're not supposed to like. This is what you are supposed to like. This is what you're supposed to believe. And you know what I'm saying? And you belong to this faction and that faction. A lot of people don't prescribe to that, rightfully so. So Ubisoft is going to be of value to a decent amount of gamers who, like us, that are listening to a lot of this content, hold value into Ubisoft games. I've been an Ubisoft Plus member since its inception. I originally got it because I wanted to test it out on Stadia, because my PC at the time could not play every single Ubisoft game the way that I wanted it to. So I wanted to try them out on Stadia, and we know Stadia is debunked now. So I continue to play it via NVIDIA GeForce Now, and honestly though, NVIDIA GeForce Now is the best place to play Ubisoft games, but that's neither here nor there. You like what you like. I think this is going to add value to consoles because everybody on console does not subscribe to Game Pass. As a matter of fact, I think Game Pass on consoles is only at 10 million. And I think we got like at least 70 million Xbox Ones and Xbox Series consoles that can garner Game Pass subscriptions. I think we got about 70 million possible consoles that can garner those subscriptions. And out of those 70 million, only 10 million have them. Wow. A seventh, right? Is that a seventh? I think so. That's very interesting. So because of that dynamic with Game Pass, I would assume, because Game Pass is filled with a lot of games that people don't know about. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some heavy hitters, and there's the Xbox games, but they don't hold the luster that they used to, like in the 360 era. So I think when you look at paying, okay, do I pay $15 for Game Pass because it has more games, or do I pay $15 for Ubisoft that has better quality games? And I think what you're going to find out is you may run into a dynamic where Ubisoft might outgrow Game Pass on the console. Because every gamer does not play a plethora of games. They only buy 2 to 3 games a year. A gamer might have about 7 to 10 games in their catalog for an entire generation. So this belief that people just want to play a whole bunch of games has already been debunked by Xbox themselves. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm in the belief system that I think that Ubisoft Plus might actually outdo Game Pass in a couple of years. That would be a shocker, but it's possible. All right. So just wanted to put that out there. Of course, our screen went blank. Why did our screen go blank? What do we have this on? We got this on open web. This is very interesting that our screen went blank. Let's see if we can fix that. Open web. Let's put this back here. Open video. Huh. Okay. Doesn't like the web? Doesn't like the internet anymore, I guess. Or maybe it's because, I think I know what we did wrong. Yes, that's what we did wrong. We had the wrong browser up. Oh, you rocket scientist, MMTK. All right, let's see here. Let's do this. Let's go back to this other browser. Let's close that. And let's bring up the correct browser. And there we go. All right. So that's the actual article from Xbox.com that talks about Ubisoft Plus being on the platform. So the next thing that we need to find is Riders Republic Ubisoft Classics. All right, so we got that, and let's put that up here right now. Bada boom, bada bang. Okay, Riders Republic joined Ubisoft Plus Classics. All right, so Ubisoft Plus Classics. Okay, so let's read from this article. It says Riders Republic offers up a massive multiplayer open world of outdoor sports, letting players bike, ski, wingsuit, and now hoverboard. Yes, that kind of hoverboard through a vast wilderness inspired by the best features of U.S. national parks. Starting April 18th, that world will be available to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members as part of the ever-growing Ubisoft Plus Classic library. So if you have PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, which are the top 2 tier of the PlayStation Plus service, you will get access to Riders Republic as part of that subscription model. All right, so let me show you, or let me share with you rather, our thoughts on all this, or give you a little bit more breakdown on the story. So now we're going to talk about Riders Republic, the latest addition to the Ubisoft Classics collection. This game is a sports racing game that takes place in an open world environment. Yada, yada, yada. The game offers a variety of game modes, including races, trick challenges, and mass events where players can compete against each other. Riders Republic also features a unique character customization system, allowing players to customize their rider's appearance and gear. According to Ubisoft's recent announcement, Riders Republic will be available on their Classics collection starting in April. This collection is a selection of their most popular games from the past, including titles like Prince of Persia, Rayman, and Beyond Good and Evil. The addition of Riders Republic to the Classics collection raises the question of whether it adds value to the collection or if it will help Ubisoft Classics on PlayStation be valuable to the platform gamers. On one hand, Riders Republic brings a unique experience to the collection, providing players with a racing game that combines extreme sports activities and open world exploration. However, on the other hand, some may argue that the Classic Collection should focus on bringing back classic titles. a lot of people look at this is what I find with PlayStation gamers. They're not I mean, don't get me wrong. They don't mind the subscription services and they don't mind playing new games in the subscription services. But before new games were really being put in the subscription services, all like that, it was really like the classic titles, the old school titles that made, I think, PlayStation Plus really do, surprisingly well when there's not a lot of advertisement behind it. Ultimately, it'll be interesting to see how gamers respond to the addition of Riders Republic Classic to Ubisoft Classics Collection, and whether it helps increase the value of Ubisoft Classics on PlayStation. So very interesting stuff. Riders Republic was a funny game for me. I was again engrossed in Stadia, and it was only 30 frames per second there. A fast-paced game like that, we can't do 30 frames per second. So I really didn't give the game the chance that I should have, because it released very close to Far Cry 6, and all my attention went to Far Cry 6 at the time. So it'd be very interesting to see if gamers start jumping into Riders Republic. Seemed like a fun game in some aspects, but a little bit more challenging than I expected it to be. And so kind of the fun factor wasn't there for me. Immediately, you combine that with the fact that it was 30 frames per second on the platform I was playing on at the time, and I was like, oh, yeah, we're done. All right, so with that said, that is everything for the news section. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about good old XDefiant. All right. So, got to fix that. So, XDefiant is making a lot of noise, creating a lot of buzz in the gaming world. And I had access to it like earlier on. I played a recent beta. I'll share my personal thoughts about that. But I was shocked to see the reception that it's getting now. But then I had to think about it, and I was like, based upon my opinion of the game, I shouldn't be shocked. So, all right, so let's get into it. So what is XDefiant? Okay. Well, XDefiant is a free-to-play first-person shooter game developed by Ubisoft. It features a range of game modes, including Team Deathmatch, Domination, and Escort, and has a diverse cast of characters to choose from, each with unique abilities and customizations. The game is set in a world where factions fight for control and players choose which faction to join. And these factions are based upon the Tom Clancy gaming, or they call it the Clancyverse. So you have characters from Far Cry, characters from Division, characters from Ghost Recon, yada, 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 Now, why is it all of a sudden gaining popularity? Well, there are a few reasons why. It's gaining popularity. First, it's free to play, making it accessible to a wide range of gamers. Second, the game offers a unique experience with its diverse cast of characters and their abilities, which sets it apart from other FPS games in the same genre. The game is being marketed heavily this weekend. I mean, they're really pushing this game. And with Ubisoft partnering with popular streamers and influencers to promote the game, it's working. Normally, a lot of these promotions don't work. Ubisoft has tried this before, it doesn't work, but you got to have some meat on the bone. And it looks like this time around, they have some serious meat on the bone. Now let's talk about XDefiant as a competitor to Call of Duty. Now, XDefiant is being considered a competitor. Hold on. Oh, let me fix something here. Sorry. Oh gosh. How we gonna do this? Where is the special video screen? Properties. You know what? Maybe what I can do is let's do a filter. You're watching the sausage being made. Add filter. Scaling aspect ratio. Let's do it, baby. And Let's make the scaling aspect ratio. Let's keep it 1080p. That didn't work. Okay, so now what we got to do, something like this. That didn't work. That is so weird. Why didn't it work? All right. Oh, what is going on here? Stop it. Stop it. There we go. All right. So XDefiant is really one of those games where when you look at it and you watch people play it, and let me do this. Nah, I'll let that part play out. I wonder if there's I wish there was a way. Here, let's do this as well. Nothing we can do about that, but let's go to a windowed portion of it. Ow. Oh, come on. What is going on here? Stop with the crap. That doesn't want to fit in this screen properly. All right. So XDefiant is being considered a competitor to Call of Duty and the entire franchise due to its similar gameplay mechanics as well as its marketing strategy. Sorry for the mic hit. Both games are first-person shooters with a focus on multiplayer, and both are heavily marketed to the gaming community. However, XDefiant offers a unique experience with a diverse cast of characters, which could give it an edge over Call of Duty. And then there's these like special powers in there. I'll kind of explain them. They kind of separate XDefiant definitely from Call of Duty. I can see if XDefiant is really becomes a competitor, I can see Call of Duty copying these. I mean, trying to implement them in their next iteration. So we scoured the web to try to get people's thoughts on what's going on with this game. Is it truly a competitor? And what's next for this game is based upon all the attention. And so these are the questions that we're going to answer today in regards to XDefiant. So let's get right to it. Question 1. What impact could XDefiant have on the FPS genre, and how could it shape the future of multiplayer shooters? Well, to answer that question, let me do something I should have done before I reviewed these questions. Let's talk about how the game plays, or how the game originally played. So the game, when it originally came out like it was fast paced, don't get me wrong, but it was more focused. It was more like tactical. It was way more tactical in the sense that, hey, you got these powers and you guys got to work together. Not in just team deathmatch, not in TDM, but these different modes and stuff like that. It was fast paced, maybe not as fast and twitchy as a Call of Duty, but it was fast paced, and it required a lot of teamwork, right? Well, and when it played like that, I loved it. And I don't like PvP. And it's just something about Ubisoft. They know how to create PvP that works, that, is enthralling, I think, for gamers who think outside of the box. Like, I remember the first Rainbow Six Vegas PvP. Excellent, beautiful, like really of my favorite PvP of all time, right? Then they brought in people from Call of Duty that helped out in that game's success. And I didn't have hands-on with the game for the most part of 2022. I got my first hands on it in 2021, partially in 2022, and then for the rest of 2022, for other reasons, I didn't get my hands on the game, right? Fast forward to about a month ago, where they had another closed beta, and I got access to the game. It was totally different. They completely changed the game, and it became more reminiscent of a Call of Duty in these these other games that try to be exactly like that. And I didn't like it. It was very generic in that sense. Yes, the powers were still there, but they completely messed up the sense of what do you call it? Strategy. I mean, basically the players that that had more experience or just had better, that had better weaponry were going to wipe you out. And that's just the way that it rolls on these other games, period. You know what I mean? You just got to be playing longer, and you got to get your time in. And once you get your time in, then you can start whipping the noobs. I don't like that dynamic. That's why I don't play those type of games. I mean, if I really wanted to, because I started playing the latest version, and I started picking up pace and getting kills and stuff like that, and actually being able to help my team get wins. I was newer. I wasn't playing it as long as them, so I wasn't like a powerhouse. I didn't like it. It was completely different from what I played before, and I didn't like it. So that's my thoughts on the game personally. Here's the thing, though. Call of Duty isn't one of the world's biggest games based upon my liking of it, because I don't like it. I like the single player. That's it. I don't like the PvP. So whatever makes a popular PvP at that scale, it has to, I guess, encompass everything that I don't like. Or maybe you can't. I mean, maybe you can make a PvP that MM2K will pick up and will still be popular. But the ingenuity and the thought process and the innovation that it takes to build something like that from the ground up, the industry just doesn't have an appetite for it at the moment. So you're either going to have games like the original XDefiant that I liked, but probably wouldn't have put a dent in the shooter space the way that Ubisoft needs, I guess. And then you do this and you totally, I was going to say reinvent the wheel. Yeah, I guess you do reinvent the wheel, and it still comes out pretty much the same as before, but you see more success. So I wanted to put that out there, give you my thoughts on it. But I think what it's going to do is really the only thing that's unique are these powers. I think what's going to happen is Call of Duty is going to copy the powers, and then you're going to find they're going to add, because they've been doing this longer. They're going to add something in there too. It's gonna be like, for those of you that remember when Take 2 or 2K5 came out, was it 2K5, the football game, and it really competed heavily with Madden. Remember that? Hold on one second. Okay. So remember when it heavily competed with Madden, and then what Madden ended up doing was buying it. Well, there's not going to be any buying here. But what you're going to likely see is that one little small nugget that makes it different. Call of Duty is going to copy it, and they'll probably regain their dominance again. There are things that are going to knock things out of the way a little bit, but unless these companies are persistent and they keep their ears to the ground and they stick with the people, they very, very rarely take over. It's usually the game that's dominant just fizzles out. We've seen similar stuff with PlayStation versus Xbox. PlayStation, since its inception's dominated. The only time it didn't do that was with the 360. But then after that, they put their ears to the ground, stuck to the people, and now they're dominating again. Again, it'll create some talking points. It'll create some buzz. It'll create some excitement because people get to stick it to the Call of Duty. It'll probably create a little bit of heartache for a little bit because of how integral Call of Duty is to this ABK deal. It could very well lead to Sony saying, okay, well, this is our answer. Hold on one second. So, yeah, it'll do that, and then once it's done, then you know, what PlayStation may do is they may say, well, you know what? Let's buy Ubisoft. Yeah, I mean, I figured they could get away with maybe spending $2 billion on Ubisoft. How much did they spend on Bungie? Let's look that up real quick. All right, let me ask my phone that was just ringing. Hold on. Check that. How much did PlayStation buy Ubisoft for? Oh, whoops. Let's see. How much did PlayStation buy Bungie for? Okay. According to yeah, so it wasn't this Friday. Anywho, well, if they paid $3.6 billion for for Bungie, Jesus, then they might have to pay like $8 billion for Ubisoft. I don't know if they have that. I don't know if Sony has that. I don't know if they want to do it. It would probably be smart for them. Based upon everything that's happening with Call of Duty. Like, if that happens, they might have to buy Ubisoft. That might be the biggest thing out of this, is that Sony buys Ubisoft. You know what I mean? So with that said, or they strike a deal, they end up striking a deal with them to get some type of exclusivity. You know what I mean? They do some exclusivity deal with Ubisoft, and then what? Microsoft buys Ubisoft, right? All right, next question. With XDefiant being marketed heavily, do you think it'll live up to the hype or fall short of expectations? Like I said, I think what's going to happen is it's going to live up to the hype for a little bit. I mean, people are playing this and they're liking this beta better than what is out retail for Call of Duty. So I think we already got our answer as far as its success. It's going to see some success, I believe. The problem is that I don't think it's going to be sustained. I think what's going to happen is it's going to, people are going to talk crap for the next 6 months or whatever, maybe a year. Activision will come up with an answer. They'll take that little nugget and they'll steal that from Ubisoft, which is the powers, and then it'll go back to what it was. You know what I mean? I don't know if the creative minds behind XDefiant are that high strung to where they're going to keep up and be able to do something about whatever answer Call of Duty is going to have. All right. Just that massive. Last question. How important is it for game developers to offer unique experiences in order to compete in crowded gaming market? And can XDefiant set a new standard for the FPS games? Here's the thing. Yeah, you got to have something that separates you. You can't just be a carbon copy with Tom Clancy characters. But I think what it is that Call of Duty has had a monopoly on this space. And people were sick and tired of the flippant way they were handling the stagnation. Right? And because they didn't like how they were handling the stagnation of the game, in comes XDefiant that has all the same value and checks all the boxes pretty much that you were able to successfully do in your game that Battlefield and others can't do. But then you got this extra little gem on top, which are these powers. So yeah, it's important. I mean, but it's beyond. Okay, it's very important to be unique. It is, and the best, and the best of the best, they can find a way to be unique, not be carbon copy, but still grab that mass audience. That's what the best of the best do. That's not what's going on here. This is Call of Duty-esque with Tom Clancy people on it. A better version of Call of Duty with Tom Clancy people smacked on top with these little extra powers. So it is important to be unique, but I think the bar of uniqueness here is not enough to really say like, oh, this is like something groundbreaking, unique. It's taking the best of what we like out of this and then adding all this unique stuff. No, it's not. It's not. So those are our thoughts on what's going on with XDefiant. As you can see, there's like this competition that's brewing in the back. And there you have it. So with that said, that's it from your boy in regards to XDefiant. And really that's all for this video. We've explored what makes XDefiant and what it is and why it's gaining popularity and how it's being considered as a competitor to the Call of Duty franchise. We've also posed some thought-provoking questions that we gathered from the internet in regards to this. And hopefully we've added something valuable to the discussion in regards to XDefiant's impact on the gaming industry. We want to thank you for watching as we did that and covered the latest news, in particular with Xbox getting Ubisoft Plus finally, and then Riders Republic being added to the PlayStation Classics. I want to thank you for that, and thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.